Hello, Creative Gems. Welcome back to Creativity. I'm Sandy, and today we're going to have some creative fun with these Dollar Tree chopping mats. They come 2 per pack and measure 11 by 14 inches, perfect to make a couple of wall sconces to light up your space. For our first wall sconce, we're going to take the wood piece from this wall shelf, also from the Dollar Tree. The wood from this wall shelf is reasonably thick and will make a great backdrop for our first wall sconce. Now, when you open up the package to take out the wood panel, don't be alarmed if the wood has some markings and imperfections because we're going to cover the entire wood panel. I have chosen to use some silver glitter shelf lining paper, but if you don't have any on hand, choose any silver themed gift wrap paper or even just some silver metallic acrylic paint will do. Or if you're really low on supplies, plain white paint will do as well. The idea is to cover the natural look of the wood into something a little more glam looking. And speaking of craft supplies, I'll leave links down in the description box to all my favorite crafting tools, embellishments, and dollar store dupes, including this pretty silver glitter paper in case you want to stock up. Now, the way I'm covering up this wood panel with the silver glitter paper is I'm wrapping it like I would a gift. The only difference is that this silver glitter paper is also self-adhesive, so I'm not using any glue. However, I will add a bit of clear tape to the ends to make sure the folded ends don't come apart. You'll also notice later on that I'm cutting the ends on a diagonal so we don't have any excess paper when we fold the ends over. Next, I'm going to take 2 huge popsicle sticks and adhere each of them onto the back of the wood panel with some hot glue. The popsicle sticks will adhere to the silver glitter paper very well, and it will also provide a very good surface for the chopping mat to adhere to it later on. I'm simply placing the popsicle sticks parallel to each other, and they'll be placed along the longer side of the wood panel, flush to the edge and centered as much as possible. And while we work on this, I would like to take a moment to thank you for tuning in to today's craft project. If you enjoy glam home decor and DIY crafts on a budget, please let me know by hitting the subscribe button. And if you like what you see today, please give me a thumbs up as well so the YouTube gods will continue to recommend my channel to other viewers like you. Next, I'll take one chopping mat and the shorter length will adhere to the wood panel where we place the popsicle sticks. We'll need to fold over about 3/4 of an inch from the edge of the chopping mat. Fold the chopping mat over with some gentle force using the wood panel as a guide. Then use your fingers to press down and make sure your crease is straight. Once you have a clear crease line, apply some Fix-All and hot glue to one of the popsicle sticks. The Fix-All is a very strong adhesive, so it will ensure that the chopping mat will not come apart from the popsicle stick. And the hot glue will cool and dry almost instantly, so there's virtually no waiting time. Once you have one end done, repeat the exact same steps on the other end. And while we work on that, drop me a note in the comments section with the words chopping mat and let me know if you have ever crafted with them before. And if so, what did you make with your chopping mats? For me, I love how easy and affordable these chopping mats are, and I have made many glam home decor pieces with them, mostly wall sconces, so if you're interested in seeing any of my other wall sconce designs using these chopping mats, I'll leave links to my other videos in the description box. Okay, so once both ends are secured to the board, you should be left with something that looks like this. The rounded part of the chopping mat will become the front of our wall sconce, and the wooden panel we covered will be the back of the wall sconce. Before we continue the design of this wall sconce, let's go ahead and add a hook to the back of the wood panel, so we have a way to hang the sconce to the wall later. And if you have watched some of my other wall sconce videos, you'll know that my favorite way to make a wall sconce hang on the wall is to use one of the metal hooks from one of these Dollar Tree picture frames. It's convenient, it's affordable, and it works really well. Here I'm cutting the cardboard backing about a ½ inch around one of the hooks. The cardboard backing is thick enough that it will provide good sturdy adhesion to the popsicle stick where it will be positioned. Once again, I'm going to use a combination of Fix-All and hot glue for instant hold. I'll place this hook as close to the middle of the popsicle stick as possible, so when we hang it, the wall sconce won't be lopsided. And now for the fun part. We're going to embellish the entire front of the chopping mat with some white vase fillers. To make them stick, I'm going to apply a coat of Mod Podge directly onto the front of the chopping mat. This jar I have is actually left over from a previous project and is slightly watered down, but it should still provide good adhesion when we sprinkle the vase filler pieces onto it. I'll apply the Mod Podge in small sections as well so it doesn't dry out too quickly. Then I'll sprinkle the vase filler directly onto the area of the chopping mat where the Mod Podge has been applied. Now, one tip I want to offer you is, if you're going to make this wall sconce, is to grab a big deep bowl or box and hold your wall sconce inside the bowl or box before you sprinkle the vase filler. You can see here that I didn't do that, and a lot of the vase filler pieces that didn't stick to the chopping mat literally bounced off the chopping mat and landed all over my crafting table, and it made a complete mess. Lesson learned, and I'll never make that mistake again. Anyhow, after the first section is done, I'll continue to apply Mod Podge and vase filler until the entire front of the chopping mat is covered. So here I have covered most of the chopping mat with the vase filler, but as you can see, there are a few large areas where I didn't apply enough Mod Podge for the vase filler to adhere to. So I'm going to fix those spots. All I'm going to do is dab some Mod Podge to those empty areas with my paintbrush. Make sure that if your Mod Podge hasn't fully dried, that you gently dab on the additional Mod Podge with your brush without brushing off the existing vase filler. Ideally, you fill in the empty spots only after the first layer of Mod Podge has fully dried. And by the way, for this particular project, I'm using the gloss version of Mod Podge, but that's only because that's what I had left over. If you have the matte type, that will work as well. And fun fact, in case you weren't aware, there are actually 17 different types of Mod Podge. If you know what types there are, feel free to share them in the comments section so we all know. So after applying the vase filler, I decided to go back in and sprinkle some white glitter on top as well. The white glitter will add a beautiful shimmer to our wall sconce, especially when the light hits it. I left the sconce sitting in the bowl overnight to make sure everything dried fully. And now I'm just going to brush my hand lightly over the wall sconce to make sure any loose pieces fall off. Doesn't look like much fell off, so that's good. Now, to finish off this first wall sconce, I'll add a strip of this beautiful rhinestone trim onto the wood panel that we covered. I'll use it as a border on the left side and right side. This trim can be cut to size and is also a self-adhesive, so no additional glue will be required. And if you like this trim, you can check the description box for a link to it as well as links to all of my favorite embellishments. So now that our wall sconce is fully embellished, I'm going to grab this LED puck light as it will be the light source for our wall sconce. This LED puck light comes with a USB cable so you can recharge it, and you can easily remove it from the wall sconce to charge it because it actually comes with a magnet. I love these puck lights because I never have to replace any batteries and they only come on when it's dark and when it senses motion. And then it shuts off automatically once there's no motion detected. You can find a link to these lights in the description box, or you can opt for remote operated puck lights or even the battery operated ones from the Dollar Tree. And with that said, here's the final look for our first wall sconce hung up on the wall. The light is bright, and because the chopping mat and the vase filler are both translucent, you get a lot of light shining through. And when it's time to recharge the puck light, you can easily access it from either opening. Now let's go ahead and make our second wall sconce. I have another wood panel from the Dollar Tree, except it's not the same wall shelf one we used earlier. This one is longer and thinner, which will be perfect for our second wall sconce design. Similar to the first wall sconce, we'll take another chopping mat and fold down the sides, but this time we'll fold down the longer sides. Then we'll use a combination of Fix-All and hot glue to adhere the folded sides of the chopping mat directly onto the wood panel. Now with that done, we're going to use the silver metallic placemat to embellish the wall sconce. I have a link to this in the description box, but Dollar Tree has one very similar to this that you can also use. To adhere it to the chopping mat, I'll first position it so that it covers most of the chopping mat, and then I'll add a bit of hot glue to the ends. Next, we're going to cover the entire front of the wood panel with these mini mirror towel sheets. Now, in retrospect, I probably should have done this step first before gluing on the chopping mat, but I was kind of designing this wall sconce on the fly, so I didn't have the forethought to cover the wood panel first. But that's okay, sometimes you just have to roll with the punches. And these mini mirror tiles are very easy to work with. They're self-adhesive and actually very sticky, but because they come in these sheets, it will be easy enough for me to position them over the wood panel before sticking them down. The hole on either side of the wall sconce is big enough for my small hands, but let's just say if you were going to make this wall sconce design, I do recommend embellishing the front of the wood panel first, just to make things a little bit easier. Now you'll notice that the sheet of mini mirror tiles is not as wide as the wood panel, so we will have some exposed wood, but we'll take care of that easily by applying a strip of silver rhinestone trim. This trim is also self-adhesive and can be cut to size, so it will be perfect for our wall sconce. As a final step, I'm going to give the wall sconce a more finished look by snipping off the pieces of placemat that are sticking out of the chopping mat on the sides. I'll trim it flush to the edge of the chopping mat. Then I'm going to take this silver chrome card trim and use it as a border to frame the edges of the chopping mat. This will give the wall sconce a more clean and professional look. The card trim is flexible and can be cut to size and is also self-adhesive. But to make sure the ends of the trim don't come apart from the chopping mat, I'm going to reinforce the ends with a tiny bit of hot glue. And as a last minute design decision, I found this loose silver gem that I think would look perfect placed in the center of the wall sconce. It will add just a bit more design detail to the wall sconce that will help play up the floral pattern of the placemat. And with that done, I'm going to go ahead and adhere 2 hooks to the back of the wall sconce. Just as we did before with the first sconce, these hooks were cut out from the back of a dollar store picture frame. I'll be placing 2 hooks to the back of the wall sconce this time so we can hang this one either horizontally or vertically. In fact, this wall sconce is light enough that if you change your mind, you can actually move the wall sconce to another location if you wanted to. The fact that there's no wiring because we're using a rechargeable LED puck light also makes it very portable and versatile. And here's the final look for our second wall sconce. This one is hung vertically, and inside I have attached a rechargeable motion censored LED puck light. The chopping mat and the mesh floral design means lots of light is going to be able to shine through to illuminate your space. Of course, if you want it to shine even brighter, you could actually opt to place 2 or even 3 puck lights inside. Comment down below with the words wall sconce and let me know which wall sconce design you like best from today. Number 1 or number 2. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel and share with other creative gems as well. Also, remember to hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time I have another DIY glam project on my channel.